Hello, once more everybody, Thetimics here. Welcome back to Let's Play Motorsport Manager. The head start for Hawkins Challenge, first in the Pro Challenge level, and we're heading into race 4, looking to increase our dominant lead. The big thing that's happening right now is that Kitano, Steinman, and Panther are sort of splitting up the points, and that's allowing us to really get out ahead, which is great. Sort of full disclosure here, I did actually play this race once already, but I managed to screw up the recording, so I'm going to do it again. Of course, at this point, it's not really a whole lot of a spoiler. Pretty clear what's going on here. It's actually been kind of boring. We're running roughshod over the WMC and hoping to continue that. With our, budget almost $1 million in the negative, and if we look at our sponsors, we're going to get a couple in, and we might be able to consider more, but we're going to hang on to where we're at in terms of the parts, getting those rear wings finished up, getting them out there, and we're going to hold it there. So I've still got some work to do in maxing out the parts that we have, but other than that, there really isn't a whole lot else to be concerned with at the moment, and we just got to accept our limited finances, do what we can, which right now has been way more than enough. So yeah, just over a day to fix the parts. That's not too bad. The Evening Herald has something to ask. What are your main worries at the moment? Everything pretty much looks great, and I would have to agree with that. So Diaz morale goes up. That's not too bad. Yeah, not exactly a hard-fought win at all for Diaz, but hey. Okay, there's our car repairs finished. So let's get on to adjusting our flow here. Now we want this to be done. Yeah, we're going to get the rear wing. That's going to be done a little bit early now. We want it to be done on the 28th. So let's there, by putting it the day after, I ensure that we get this finished. So that's sort of where we are. Now, let's just clear these out. Because we want to tune that again to the next race. We definitely want the gearboxes and the front, or not the rear wings, but the front wings. So let's go ahead and throw those in. And then it says next is top speed, so we'll put the engines back on there. And that's not everything. So, after that, since that's the top 3 parts, we'll use that to make our decision. And that's going to be Black Sea. And then the rear wing is going to be the next part there. So, let's throw on the one rear wing that we have that's good, that we're going to want to use. And I actually don't even know if any of that has changed. But that's how I want to go with approaching this. Okay. And Keith Taylor. Who is the reserve driver for us, I guess. I forget. Gets married. Okay. Marketability goes up. Rear wing is finished. And then we've got a report on the race. So it's almost 50 laps, 3 miles, a small chance of rain. Front wings is the key part. Panther have the best for that right now. And soft, medium, and hard tires. Okay. So I think this is our last rear wing. Yep, they're both at 992. That's right. Now we're going to want to use them both. So let's go ahead and flip them onto our cars, and that's good enough to make them both happy. Great. Let's improve them. This one's almost there at 100%. Let's put that out. And then we want to move this up to whatever it's got to be to get it done before the race. We're just barely going to make it. 38 of them. All right, now I want to take that one off and put that one on, just because it's not quite as good. Let's even those up. But I think now we just want to head forward to the race. Okay, they want a Celebrity Center. Of course, we're not going to be able to do that. Fitness course. Legendary fitness guru Dan Hardsmith has a slot available in his Get Fit or Die intensive exercise course. Now, between you and me, we both know Roger Harrison could do with getting off sofa every once in a while. Should I book him in? Add the personality trait? No, we don't have the money. We're just going to pass on that. Double check our parts here. Yep. Move right along. Not very far, though. Okay, amazed if Roger Harrison doesn't walk away with top prize. Well, I think it's going to be Diaz, actually. And we got apparently a little bit of a rivalry continuing to go on between Harrison and Diaz. Thornton figuring to struggle again. And yes, Brian Hawkins wants us to know that spending blah, 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 blah. We've seen this song and dance before. Okay. See if we want to make any last minute adjustments. Yeah, we can back this off a little bit. Maybe get like a fraction of a point or something extra out. Okay. Reliability work is completed, which is where we wanted to be. And if we double check where we're looking here, still number one in top speed, number one in acceleration, deceleration second. Our front wings are now not as good. They're fifth there. We're up to fourth now on the rear wing. We're still above average on everything, but you can clearly see our front wing, the low speed corners, not as good, and that could hurt us in this this track for sure. Okay, and we're going to go for the maximum, of course. And temperatures. It's going to be warm for practice, but coolish for the race here. I don't see us going in the hard direction. And I like having a lot of soft tires because of qualifying. Don't see us needing any more than 2. There. So 8, 5, and 2. That should be just fine. Let's make sure we have everything as we want it. And I think we do. So it's off to Tondela. All right. So weight stripping, as always, first. And no, I'm bumping that down too low. This one can go down to 70 because it's got the lower red zone. And 330 for both. Let's see if we can get to practice here and get some things done. That should be reasonable. Harrison looking good. And let's start off at an 8 there. On the soft tires. And that should be about right there. Don't mind Diaz starting out on the mediums. We are going to want to practice those. We can see we're dry as dry can be. So let's get to it. Go and split up the qualifying. And you know what? Go with 2 laps. And Diaz can start with... Oh, you're set on qualifying too, huh? Alright. I figured one of them would be on race. But I just want to set them on whatever they're at to start out with, just so we don't waste any time in the changes. Six, 9, and 7, 1. So both drivers looking good to start. A lot of cars on hard tires. And we're going to burn up the tires pretty quick on this, but again, it's 26, it's warm. It's not going to be, it's going to be several degrees cooler for race day. So that's going to change things up a lot. And of course, that's what we're gunning for. Harrison's happy with the handling. Diaz getting better, Harrison weaker overall so far. And handling looking good for both drivers then. You can see this is one of those tracks where 118, the stated track record of 136, obviously quite off. And again, I think that's because they use different formations, like different track layouts, I should say. Okay, so Diaz wants more downforce. We'll work on that. Harrison's still pretty much happy with everything. You can see why. Horrible rating for the downforce, giving us a 75 overall, but still pretty happy with those. Let's try 2 degrees up on each. Might want a bit more. I'll go up to 16.5, 26.5. And then yeah, I'll just try there. That's probably a bit too much change, but we'll see. Okay. So, since we're coming in anyway, and you're on the medium tires, why don't we switch you, well, I don't see it going more than 4. We'll have Harrison finish up soft qualifying, and then we'll see where we end up. course, we're just a few minutes into the session, so Harrison also happy with the speed ratios. Set a new fastest sector on his in-lap. That's interesting. Looking pretty good, but not great. 86%. Strong for a first attempt. Okay. So let's... That's probably a bit high. Somewhere in that general vicinity, maybe a little bit higher. Yeah, I think that's in the right area. Then max out your qualifying. And get out again. Ride with Diaz a bit, who's boosting her form here. As the track gradually gets faster. So we're almost to level 2 qualifying. Just starting out on the race trim, and the medium tires starting to get there. Very little in the way of soft tires and not many mediums. A lot of them going hard. And that might be the right move under temperatures this high, but they're not going to stay up here. So I'm very confident in that call. Harrison liking the downforce more. That's a good sign. All positive news so far. More positive news on the speed. And the next thing we're waiting for here really is for Harrison to hit the line here on the qualifying trim. It's time for him to back off on the tires. Sneak closer on a couple more things. So we're not going to make it here. He's going to need to go around for his in-lap, and that should do it. Going to want him to stay on the same tires, but go back out for the race trim. Yep. And there we go. Soft tires are close. And so is that setup. 98%. So we just want to tweak the speed just a bit if we can. But we want to go race trim the minimum amount and stick on those tires. So let's see. That was good. This is great. So maybe just a tad more. Just want to try that and see what it does. Make sure I'm on. Yeah, okay. Get back out there. See how Diaz does. Race trim and medium tires, and she's not looking as happy. 92%. I mean, that's still better. But it's not great. So it went from very poor to good. And I don't know if she wants it a little bit higher or not. Don't know which direction to go on the acceleration here. I think maybe we just keep going that way. But let's try. I need to try a decent amount of movement here. And then just see what that does. That's probably too far. Yeah, let's just try that. Yep, want to stick on race trim. And Chapman getting in the business of trying to set faster times here on soft tires. But we could really care less about that at the moment. We're only about halfway to the race trim and only have a few minutes left, so we don't want to dilly-dally in wrapping that up. And we won't be with both cars out working on it, that's for sure. Okay, Diaz not happy with the downforce. Harrison seems pretty happy with everything. But we just hit the soft tires line, so we'll want to bring them into okay. So yeah, downforce down to okay. So that was a negative. So here we were, yeah, we were there. So we probably want to go higher that way. Okay, so if we bump this up to 27, let's try that. See how that runs. We should be able to get all the medium we need from Diaz, I would assume. So I'm going to switch Harrison over to hard tires in a minute once he comes in. And still at 98%. I think I'm just going to sit at 98% and say, you know what? That's pretty good. I'm going to live with it. Hard tires will still leave us one fresh group to use if we need. Which we won't, but if we did. No reason to go more than 4 laps. And Diaz racing excellently. We need to wrap up now these medium tires and the race trim. There's the race trim, so we're happy there. We need one more lap to get the mediums. There we go. Come in after that. Switch to hard tires, at which point it's not going to make any difference. But we may just be able to get one more little tweak of the setup. Not sure if I'm going to be able to fit that in or not. We got all 4 of the big ones we wanted. Level 3 on softs, mediums, race, and qualifying. So that means so long as we end up getting both cars dialed in, we'll be very successful practice session. Yeah, 30 seconds left, so there's plenty of time. And yeah, 93%, but we're still not there. So we messed up the speed balance. Okay, the speed balance was great. And then it was great. And that's good. So I think we... It was great there. Okay, so I think I need to be between this one and this one. Maybe about directly under that first E in speed. And then maybe actually a tad more downforce, if anything. See if I can make that happen. That's close. Right there. That's how I think I want it. Okay. And you switch to hards. It literally is going to have like 5 seconds out on the track. So this change is going to take almost the entire time left in our session here. And there we go. Ends it, tooling down pit row. So we may or may not get that number 1 on the hard tires, and I could care less. Finishing 2nd and 4th is not the best position in the practice, but it's pretty darn good. We're up there near the top. Harrison, one of the last cars to finish. And Wexler right at the end with the fastest lap. So we end up 3rd and 5th. And yeah, Wexler really burned a great lap there. Low 117 to put really the next several drivers, including us, behind. So that's going to be something to watch. okay-ish. They'll find our real pace on Sunday, and it was an impressive lap time. This was not hyperbole in this case. Now, of course, it's time to earn our sponsor bonus in the qualifying here. And the sweeter spot's not of that great benefit, so again, no reason not to go soft tires in qualifying. Weight stripping is all set. Boy, we're here at, we're at 98%. Gonna stick with that, so we just want Harrison to get different tires. But we still have not, well, the tweaks okay, it wasn't out there long enough for those tweaks to change. She wasn't. Okay, so we just need to make the same adjustments. Gotta remember what was done here. I believe it was slightly higher downforce. And then we wanted the speed, something like that, and then just the slightest, wasn't that way. Yeah, that's where we had it. Okay, let's give that a shot. Now, I don't like not being lined in going into practice. So coming out of practice, going into qualifying. So there's definitely some concern for Diaz. And because of that, I'm going to send Diaz out first here. Get her out on the track, so in case I want to make any adjustments, and this doesn't go as well as anticipated. She's also running an 8.2, which is very nice. And now let's get Harrison out. Sticking, of course, with his setup, which is not perfect, but just dandy and pretty close. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. Slow the heck down. Okay. That was a little scary. I didn't realize how hot she was getting and how close she was getting to the end of the track. And wasn't getting any temp going for Harrison either. So that's a good example of, yeah, don't just mail it in on the qualifying. You need to get the tire temps where they need to be. And there we go, perfect temps for both cars. Should be able to get 3 runs at this, I would imagine. And Diaz happy with 1:15.9, which is over a second better than Wexler managed. So that's sort of throwing down the gauntlet and saying, I dare you to beat me. Let's see how Harrison does. Close to the time, but not on it, it looks like. And Harrison finishing second, just over 10th behind. You can see everybody else who's gone is much slower. So we are feeling great about our start now. And let's see what Diaz's car has to say. It says 98%. Good. Okay, great. Great. I'm leaving it at 98. I'm leaving it right there. The only thing I'm doing is saying, okay, let's go out and do it again. And of course, hoping not to get stuck in traffic, but that's always going to be a concern. Harrison, you go out and do it again. And this is all just about, you know, the idea that more laps mean a better chance of setting a top time. Looking good, but in traffic as well. Not for long, though, as they dip down in, so that's nice. Let's get Harrison. Looks to have a nice gap here, but it all depends on who's going to come out of the pits when. Only so much that can be controlled. And the temp's looking great. Not a great first segment for Diaz. Let's see if she can improve on that. It would appear so. She sets the fastest second sector and is now ahead of her lap leading pace. Not happy apparently with running 0.024. About a 40th of a second slower. And now Harrison running a good second sector, not as good as hers, but good enough to have a very slight lead as he heads into the final turn here. And he improved his time, but not enough, and neither one of them happy as they continue to lead the way. So feeling pretty good about this. We could wait a bit. I am going to wait just a bit longer. Just wanted to sit in here for about a minute and then go out. Bunch of other cars going out as well, so we may be stuck in traffic. But when you're in first and second, you can kind of afford to take a few chances. I think this is a good spot for Diaz to be in, just in front of that red car there. That would be the number 6 of Nilo Saarinen, apparently. And now we'll get Roger Harrison rolling out on the track. This is looking like pretty good timing because Harrison's going to start his last lap with maybe 30 seconds, at less than 30 seconds actually, before the buzzer. Yeah. 10 to 15 seconds. So you can't really time it much better than that as far as that goes. Now Vasquez has set a new pole position of half a second faster. Boy, now the pressure's on here a little bit, and Diaz, I think, improved. Yep, did improve, but not nearly enough. And Harrison with a bad first segment, so he's really going to need to pick it up to have any shot at that. Well, he ran his best second one, but not good enough to keep with the pace of Vasquez. So it looks like we're going to be stuck in second and third. Yes, indeed. And that was Harrison's best look, but not good enough. So by a full half second, it's Javier Vasquez of Gitano taking the pole. And that's a little bit more of a challenge now being laid down to us by the other teams. They're saying it's not a walk, and I mean we've still got, with only there were basically 3 cars, Diaz, Harrison, and Sharp clustered in this group. Overall, we still looked the best in qualifying, but perhaps we're not, our strength is not as much as it was. Perhaps the other cars are overall gaining on us. As we saw, one of the crucial parts is the one that we're worst at. And it says Vasquez is so gosh darn smug. Diaz hoping for more tomorrow. Hashtag race on. Harrison disappointed by qualifying and thinks he could have gotten more. So, yeah, they weren't too happy with their last couple of attempts. But here on race day, of course, is again where our crucial advantage comes in terms of the strategy, which is only to use approximately 70% fuel and go with the hybrid usage of the battery. And that's really where our dominance largely comes from, I do believe. Now the question is, do we want to go with softs or mediums? And even if we're going to spend more of the race on mediums, I would normally like softs. And make sure you get out to the lead and all of that. But we haven't had any trouble getting out to the lead. I'm thinking maybe like a soft and 2 mediums kind of approach. But let's take a look at exactly what we're going to get out of these tires. Let's not guess at it. So a soft is going to give us 19 to 21, 27 to 29. So we're not going to get that many out of them. So we're not going to get, we're not going to be able to do one stop, because we could go from a soft to a hard and probably do one stop. But I think it makes more sense here to do 2 stops. We get 16 out of each tire. And, we might be able to swing that. So I'm thinking, it depends on how much we're getting out of the soft tires, but I'd like to stretch it to a 2-stop and all 3 on softs. That's how I would like to go with this. And given that, let's open up our knowledge, and we'll definitely want to hit the soft tires then, and the race trim. And of course the tire changes, again, not worth it in comparison, not even close to being worth it. Let's take a look, make sure we're on a fresh set of tires, and look at our fuel options. So I think we want to go with 34. 32 would be 2/3, then add 2 as always. And so with 12 of them, we're looking at, well over a second per lap that we're expecting to save. So onward, let's see how we do here in the 4th race, whether we're going to dominate again. Now Vasquez looking pretty good at a 7, but Diaz is at an 8 and Harrison at an 8. Very nice. Sharp injured at a 7 there. So it really looks like the top 4 drivers are indeed sitting in the top 2 rows here. And let's see how Diaz goes. Well, Harrison blowing right by her as Diaz falls to 5th, then 6th by the time we get around the first turn. Meanwhile, Harrison braking with Vasquez and staying right behind him. So we're not blowing away the field instantly, at least. And Vasquez now trying to push out to a lead as Diaz tries to make her way back up through the leaders. Now Harrison right on the bumper of Vasquez, looking to get to the inside but can't maintain it, and Chapman is right behind. Here we come to the final turn. Diaz up to 4th. And we've got Vasquez, Harrison, Chapman, Diaz, Sharp falling back, possibly due to injury. But we're really having to fight for it here, and this is not something that we're used to. It's kind of a nice surprise, to be honest. We can see the weather, 19 degrees, dry. So nothing but good weather going on here. Diaz now up to 3rd. But Vasquez giving us more of a challenge than we have yet seen. That is the story here in Tondela as we go through this last loop. And Harrison goes to the inside but can't hold it. And you know what? As much as I'd like to keep on rolling, we're going to switch back to neutral. So we're going to settle in 2nd and 3rd. And Chapman staying pretty close, Sharp fairly close, and then there's a big gap after that. But we're just going to have to sit here and see if we can catch Vasquez later, 2nd behind, and that is a beautiful thing. Actually, I love the fact that they're giving us a challenge here. Still think we're going to win the race, but like it's not for sure. Seem to be settling in now. About 3 seconds ahead of Chapman. 6 or so ahead of the rest. And then the question becomes Vasquez. And I think I want to try to push to get by him. See if we can do that, and if Diaz is able to get by, then I'll do it with Harrison as well. I think he is starting to hold us up. And Dieter Wexler crashes, so that's big news. And do we want to pit? Safety car leaving the garage. You know, I don't think we do. Although, we could go in. The thing is, with the safety car out, we're going to want to be on softs. But no. So I was thinking of going with 2 mediums instead of, you know, the other 2 stops. But no. We're going to ignore that. But what we are going to do is that we're going to go low on everything. And then, you know, we're just going to hope, because our tires are a little better, we're going to hope to then get by Vasquez on the restart. That's our first full yellow that we've seen, I think, in this entire season, if I'm not mistaken. So that's just going to bunch everybody back up again. But for the most part, I like where our tire wear is. See, Sharp's not bad, you know, Lipinen and Holtz. But our tire's better than Vasquez. See, Vasquez is at 61. Diaz at 62. Harrison at 66. So we're feeling pretty good about all of that. Our battery is slightly more, although everybody's pretty much in the same spot. And this is why we bring extra fuel, you know, that couple 3 laps extra, because of things like this. Looks like one more lap around with a safety car. Yep, so it's going to be heading to the garage. When we get around this time, we'll be back to going green after 8 laps in. And sitting in second and third, see if we can do anything about the challenge of Javier Vasquez. Gotta move up the tires here now for Harrison. And it doesn't look like anybody went in, so if we'd have gone in, we would have found ourselves at the very back of the pack. No thank you to that. And yawning away our way around the track, but we're almost there now. And there goes the safety car in, so let's just go nuts and see what happens. And here we go. Vasquez maintaining the lead, and we're already separating from the other cars. At least we were, but having trouble with this spot. And if we stayed right where we are, well, we'd still win the race by a hair over Catano. And Harrison, not liking the closeness, but he goes by to take first position. That's what we're talking about. Harrison, you drop back then to high and push. See if you can hold it there. While Diaz keeps Diaz up there. Now let's go to high for a lap. And that's the fastest lap of the race, despite your tire condition. Alright, and we're pulling away now, so let's go medium again. And now we got to start looking at You know, how long can we stay out here before we pit? I definitely want to stay out as long as the tires will last for both drivers. Get whatever distance we can, because I don't want to be trying to race against a bunched up field. Second lap in a row that Harrison with the fastest lap of the race, sub 120. Diaz a second and a half behind. Vasquez now almost 3. So Harrison driving a 6.8, and now we've sort of got reverse of the last race, at least at the moment, because Harrison's pulling away from Diaz, despite the fact that Diaz has the superior form on the day. And yeah, both of them pulling away from Vasquez pretty effectively. Diaz is going to be the weaker for the tires, so I want to just ride along with her. She's driving great, of course, despite falling behind Harrison. I think that might be because of the tire condition, maybe not. But I want to see how long these tires last. I don't want to go down to conserve. I just want to drive them for as far as we can. See how she does on this time around. You see the gap, like Vasquez 4 seconds up to Lipinen, so he's the only one even causing a challenge right now. He's got to be livid about the restart because it didn't go as well for him. She's going to be just a little bit red, yep, after this lap. Okay, so we're going to send Diaz in. Now that's going to be 14 laps. 34 left. Need to get 17 out of each tire. That's exactly what she's rated at. That's... man, that's tough. I don't know if she's going to make it. I think maybe another soft... and then a medium at the end. We'll try that. Not sure if that's the right move. That's what I'm going to go with. And then Harrison should definitely be able to run it on softs, I would think. See how he does here. It's probably going to be his last lap. Coming in at that 30 to 31 spot. And Diaz drops to 3rd now. Oh, way down to 8th. So she's going to be in traffic. Yeah, let's get him in for his next set. So Diaz definitely going to lose some time here. Up to 5th now, though. Up and back down again. There it is. And yeah, has some distance. Well, no, not quite. So Harrison down to second and Diaz fifth. So again, we're fighting with traffic here, which is not a thing we've had to do much. Mostly due to the yellow. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge now. Okay, now let's push here. I can't really afford to push on the tires with Diaz because I want to make them last, but let's push otherwise with the engine to get through these spots. Up past Sharp, he's having real tire problems. And then next up is Saarinen. Lipinen has already pitted, so gotten out of our way. So I just want Diaz to get up ahead of Saarinen, and then we can go back to standard approach. And Saarinen not having any of it, going to the speed burst. But that's only a temporary thing. Harrison fastest lap of the race. And Diaz not quite able to catch up there on that home straight, get the inside corner. So Harrison really extending out now and is looking great to win this. Diaz finally makes the pass there. But now, you know, almost 9 seconds behind. As we get ready to go hybrid for the first time. Vasquez not far behind Diaz, so she's going to have to be a little careful there. But should be able to pull away. The question is, can she make any kind of traction? It looks like Harrison is going to have this pretty well locked up. Let's go hybrid and use up some of that energy. And again, Harrison goes faster. But then Diaz goes faster still. We're approaching now a little bit, getting into the halfway point. Cars starting to spread out over half a minute apart from the beginning to the end. So we're starting to see the usual pattern here. But it took a while to get it going. Ultimately, of course, for the points, though, all that matters is, are we going to hit first and second? And I do believe we are. Diaz now driving great, still at over 9, and is gradually, seems to be slowly gaining. I'll take this down to about 70%, I think, on the hybrid, and then I'll release it. That should about do it. Diaz with a new fastest lap, down to just over 8 seconds, so she is making up ground. The question is, I really got to doubt whether you're going to make up, you know, another 8 seconds against Roger Harrison. But it could happen. It could be interesting for the sort of the team rivalry for Harrison to get back in this. If we look at the driver's standings, they would be tied again if they hold this. And right now, Kitano looking good, and Windsor would get a bunch of points. Steinman and Panther are not doing much, so they'd be falling quite a bit further off the pace. With Windsor and Van Dort getting that many points, that would be great, but a long way to go before that actually happens. Down under 8 seconds, so Diaz is catching up. How close can she get? Could you get close enough to make a race of it? Doubtful, but long way to go. Still over half of the race left. And yet another fastest lap by Diaz, who was just burning up the track, even though her form has dropped to 8.7. And just as I say that, Harrison's starting to slightly extend again, running his fastest lap of the race so far. Of course, that speed increase would be expected with the grip increasing and fuel going down. See, even that last lap, though, Diaz still won by .025. And it's quite clear now that she is not going to make it on the medium tire, on the soft tires, rather. So we're just going to run them down until they start getting close, and then she'll come in and get mediums for that last set. Harrison, though, he might be able to stick with those softs. And if he can, that'll be obviously a huge difference. I would expect that speed gap to ensure his victory. Let's ride along with Diaz for a bit. And this could be the last lap. Let's see if we do that. Yeah, it's still a little tight on the mediums, frankly. I'd prefer to get one more out of this. Vasquez now on hards as he's come in. That's an interesting choice. Yeah. I don't think Diaz is going to make it around another time with good tires. I want to put her on mediums. See if she can finish that off. Now, let's see about Harrison, who's starting to go through traffic. Here's the first one. Vidal. The last active car, of course, with Wexler no longer out there. And he's only driving decently at best. But still looks to be the clear winner here. One more lap, maybe two for him. Oh, and I've maxed out the energy again. With the extra fuel we used earlier, that could be hazardous. Let's make sure we don't do that. Vasquez, on hard tires, runs the fastest lap of the race. That I would not have predicted. Yeah, and I think he can make it this last one here. So definitely be the last lap for him. And he'll have 18 to go. He should just make that, I think. Well, no, I think he's going to not quite make it. I think he needs to go mediums as well. And the thing about it is, there's absolutely no reason to stretch it here. Let's just not take the risk. Let's make sure that he's got enough. And let's switch to harvest for both of them while he comes into the pits. So that should be the last stop, in theory. And then we'll run our way to the end, the last 15-20 laps, and see what happens. Good pit stop. And Diaz now just under 4 seconds now on the gap. So definitely making a charge. Gap still closing. Roger Harrison, again, the huge gap in the driving form right now, and he may not want to count his chickens before they're hatched as we hit the 2/3 points of this race. And we've got a couple cars again, and Vidal and Woodford going to have to pass them again. Diaz gradually closing. And she could have time to get this done yet. Swing back to hybrid here. Diaz goes under 119. And we're not exactly destroying Vasquez. We're destroying everybody else. But Vasquez just 10 seconds back, well into this race. So he's doing a great job, relatively speaking. And this is not at all the way the race went. It was... it was another lots of lapped cars, another dominating performance. There was no Wexler crash the first time I did this when it didn't record properly. So it just goes to show you never know what's going to happen on race day. Diaz now down to a 4-second gap, had some trouble in traffic, and that will tend to happen. I think we're down low enough to go harvest again for a while. Harrison also does have more fuel left, so that will also potentially aid him at the end. We've made it through all the traffic for now, 3.5 second gap. And making our way towards DeGraff and Moreno. But they're a ways up there yet. Gonna have to start putting some more heat into the tires soon. Again, no change in the track. It's just a great track. It's getting gradually faster and faster as we go around. And still largely looking the same, although the Panther getting some solid results now. Not Steinman, but Windsor is. So, but again, that kind of spreading out the points among the other teams is just nothing but great for us. Okay, now there was Blanc coming out of the pits. In between Harrison and Diaz. So Harrison doesn't have to pass him on the track, but Diaz does. And that's going to be great, of course, for Roger. So now Diaz is going to have to put some more heat into the tires. And you know, whether or not those are going to last, very much an open question. Maybe basically driving on rims by the end, but Harrison down to 3.9. So, bottom line is there's pluses and minuses all over the place, but it looks like Harrison's going to hold this. And I think it's time now, about now, we should be able to go on hybrid, maybe not the rest of the race, but close to it. And we could drive the fuel down a little bit lower, but again, no real need. 7.9 compared to 3.9. But cannot catch up, at least at the moment. Diaz has gotten through the traffic, though. Just over a 4-second gap. And both drivers just trying to make the tires last as much as they can. Well, it seems pretty clear, though, that it's going to be really rough for Diaz to do this. Fastest lap of the race so far. But see how things look in a few more laps. She's going to have some rough tires at the end. Again, Vasquez holding on, not losing a lot of time to us, despite those hard tires. So you got to give him a lot of credit. It shows that it's not going to be very long until we're vulnerable. Harrison's fastest lap of the race. So it looks like we're pretty much set here. And again, this would give us tied, tied drivers at the top with Diaz and Harrison. And the team situation looking like Kitano's taken over a strong-ish second position. Panther doing pretty well. Bad day for Steinman, good day for Windsor. But it would really be Kitano, the one that we're going to sort of want to race against, if any, in the future at this rate. Harrison now really starting to run into the bulk of the track. Bulk of the pack traffic with 5 laps to go, and it looks like about the last through 2 to 3 Diaz is going to be in some real tire trouble, whereas Harrison probably going to be fine, but coming up behind to a degree against Holtz there. There are several cars in a row. And that could give Diaz a chance to close this up, but still looks like it's pretty much foregone. We're still going to end up with some extra fuel here. Four to go. Looks like the Hawkins race team is going to have another glorious success here. And Holtz having some mechanical issues. Whoa, we definitely need to push those tires now. Both drivers, actually. And there's Diaz on lap 46 having tire trouble. So, in the end, should have gone soft, medium, medium for her. Didn't quite calculate that out properly. That's too bad. We only got like 2 laps to go. I mean, I could. It wouldn't matter. I could still probably stay ahead of Vasquez. But we're not going to do it. 3 wide into that first turn. As Holt's trying to get back on the lead lap. I don't think that's going to work out too well. Saarinen a few seconds ahead. May catch him. That's a good question. How about never? With this much time left, let's just burn the fuel. And Holt's not giving up that fight. As we go into the last lap. Still a 4-second gap. Now Vasquez did finally go into pit again, and that cost him some time, so he's going to look a lot further behind in the final tally than it actually is going to end up being. But this day definitely belongs to Roger Harrison. Started better than Diaz, and then Diaz had to pit sooner and got caught in traffic, and that was a big deal after the yellow. So caution came out, had to pit, got caught in like 8th place, lost some time in traffic, and between that and the tire issues, that was pretty much it. Vasquez sets the fastest lap of the race, and nobody really cares there at the end. And there's Harrison taking the winner's circle. The unvarnished string of success for the Hawkins race team so far continues. Just under a 5-second gap there, and another 20-some back to Vasquez. No rule breakers. Nigel Cook gets the champagne once again. And our lead is almost 100 points now. Catano starting to emerge. See if they can maintain it, but starting to emerge from Panther as the top opposition. The injured Oliveira is not still wanting to push on for a win, despite not doing too badly. But yeah, when you're banged up like that, you're going to be in trouble. Fitness of 2. Nigel Cook, you are amazeballs. I wouldn't go that far, but we are doing pretty well. We can see the small boosts, and Keith Taylor is negatives, and we don't care. And a bit of a boost to marketability, as always. Losing 250k, which is less than we expected to lose, but losing is still losing, of course. And we're just over 1 million now in the negative as we've hit the quarter pole of the season. Supposed to get some rain up next at Black Sea, but most importantly, of course, the lead continues to grow. Will any of these teams be able to eventually mount a lasting challenge? They're going to have to start making their charge soon, because if we get to the halfway point of the season and we're still winning every race, they're going to be too far behind even if we start not winning anymore. So the next few races, I think, are going to tell the tale about whether they actually ever get in a serious challenge. We'll continue with that next time. Till then, thanks for watching Motorsport Manager. See you soon.